So a couple days ago, I was on a beach in Egypt, and I decided to write about kind of the reflections of me not making 10K and so on. So this is just gonna be me reading it. On June 30th of this year, right after praying Isha, I decided I wanted to make 10K USD in July. 10K month has always been just on the horizon, but never actually in reach. As I was walking back from Isha, it hit me. July 2026 will be the freest I'll be in a long time. I'm not studying, my friends aren't in Dubai, and from the 12th onwards, my parents will be in Egypt. I'll literally have the whole day to make money. So I sat down in front of my laptop and recorded a video announcing the challenge and how I'll achieve it. The blueprint was simple: close a bunch of School of Yalla leads and close a bunch of Shigs leads. A couple of obstacles though. The month of June was my first and only month so far working for School of Yalla where I haven't closed a single lead. Had it not been for a second payment from the month before and hitting 20 calls from the carryover, I would not have made any money. The second point was, it's the summer, so there's no GCSE pressure on students/parents. Making money is just solving problems though, so these two obstacles were opportunities. To tackle the first, I needed to increase my leverage. My standard commission is 10%, so I'll need to collect $50,000 to get half of my goal. The solution was simple: run a campaign that gets me more leads and negotiate a higher commission rate for it. I remembered last year, I ran an email campaign for the School of Yalla leads and it got me some booked calls. It seemed like the highest leverage thing I could do. I told Kareem, my boss, the plan, and we settled on a 15% commission rate. Then I got to scripting. More on this later. The second obstacle was Shigs. Now, Shigs is the highest leverage asset I have. Any cash I collect is 100% mine, and I get to close at a higher percentage. I decided to restructure the program so it makes more sense over the summer. I condensed it down to 4 weeks from 6 and rebranded it as a summer crash course. Parents now see it as getting ahead of the school year. I sent a bunch of messages to parents that have previously booked calls from the paid campaign that I ran, and I got 3 booked calls. Now back to School of Yalla. I drafted the email sequence, promising myself not to use AI. If I wanted to make this as effective as possible, it needs to stand out and be authentic. It ended up being an 8 email daily sequence, getting 35 calls booked. One of the emails got 10 bookings on its own. But I don't get paid on booked calls. I get paid on cash collected. Although I got a bunch of booked calls, I was only able to close 2 through those sequences. But on yearly plans, so I made $1,800 total through the sequence. I also closed a lead from another source on a yearly, so another $600 and another $300 for hitting 20 calls. In parallel, it felt like I was killing it with Shigs. 2 out of 3 leads closed, so another $2,100. All before July 14th. All of a sudden, this goal that always seemed unattainable was not only in reach, but it felt inevitable. But there was an issue. I had exhausted my highest leverage assets. The email sequence wasn't going to get me any more leads, and I had no more Shigs leads to reach out to. The only way forward was a more scary one: close 5 Shigs leads from cold traffic. The thing is though, I don't know how to run ads, but I didn't know how to make videos or close leads or build systems or memorize Quran either. Yet, I learned. Not only that, my parents had left, meaning I have all the time in the world. I could teach myself how to run ads. I found a 12-hour course on YouTube and I sat through half of it in 2 sittings. I used everything I learned to run a static image campaign in 2 days, and immediately I saw results. I ended up getting something like 15 calls booked after only spending around $400. It seemed inevitable again. Yet, it didn't happen. In fact, not a single closed lead from the campaign. Now, I don't believe it was a mistake. In fact, I learned a lot. I got creative and found a way to get a British WhatsApp. I realized my biggest bottleneck was my show rate, but yet, I didn't reach my goal. And I'm extremely grateful for that. At the end of the day, I set the goal, I made dua for it, I worked really hard, yet I didn't reach it. Allah had a different plan, and Him overriding mine requires gratitude. But I still need to look back and reflect. Firstly, if I'm honest with myself, this challenge was a distraction. My khushu' was affected. My next step was always on my mind: the next call, the next lead, the next tweak to the website, and so on. Why does making money matter if it draws me away from my purpose? Secondly, I thought I'd make the most amount of money when my parents left to go to Egypt. It made sense. I'll have more time and less distractions, so I'll make more. Here's what's funny though. All of the money I had made was through work done while my parents were still here. In fact, I remember writing the email sequence and sending messages to Shigs leads while in a coffee shop in the mall with my mom. I thought more time equals more input, but you don't get paid on input, you get paid on output, which is purely in Allah's hands. The Baraka effect is real. Being in the service of my parents undoubtedly had a part to play. It's almost freeing to think about. As long as you do the right things, you can get a multiplier on your inputs which outweighs any additional hours you put in. SubhanAllah. Would it be nice to have made the 10K? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm more grateful for the lessons I learned instead. Plus, I still made 5K, and Shigs was further validated. In fact, I'm more confident than ever that a paid campaign for Shigs could work. Excited to see what's possible in the coming months.